So starting off with our first resume we're going to review today is Soonsay. A lot of people got to know him a little bit better from Mango's Birthday Bash this recent weekend. Well, I guess it'll be 2 weekends ago, I believe, when the VOD of this comes out. Another Fox player, 4th on the Ontario PR. And yeah, let's dive in and highlight the results that are important here and see if he's got the gumption to make the top 100 this year. Win over Reeve is all right. I don't know what Reeve's stock is looking like right now. Let me see who Reeve has beaten this year. Win on Drunk Sloth, Boyd Zamu. So, and he's probably got a little bit more than that. These Liquipedia pages aren't always completely added up. And also two very, very respectable losses. I think that's something that we'll see at pretty much everything on Soonsay's resume. Very, very respectable losses. A month later, looks like he started like late into the year. And also there might be a little bit more for Soonsay. Soonsay was one of the players I reached out to but didn't hear anything back from him, unfortunately. It is like a pretty quick turnaround. So, and again, you can only see so many events in their early calendar because of how Smash GG works. So there's probably a little bit more in this early portion of the year. But this is what we have to work with. But then we go down the 3rd at Randall City. Quaff is a Marth. He's the 2nd in Alberta, so also a Canadian player. Marth versus Spacies is something you can never get away from, no matter where you live, no matter where you play. Then going down the Super Smash Con. Also, attendance at a lot of bigger events and a lot of really good results there. I think these are notable players, but not notable wins, if that makes any sense. Like, beating all these people are really cool, but actually, we can check something real quick if any of those players are going to be on the ballot. Probably the only person I could see being on the ballot. Oh yeah, so the real thing is on the ballot. The Mateo loss. Mateo is Falcon Gannon, 5th in Ontario, right behind Soonsay. So again, not like a bad loss by any means, and I don't think the Juan X, I'm not even going to go about highlighting it, but like a player around his level that he'd rather not be seeing that is he also in Ontario and he plays Peach? Okay, yeah, so that makes sense that he would be playing against 3 Canadian players at a, I assume, Canadian tournament. So I don't know, unless one of you Canadian people, maybe Android, you might know if there's a link to it of a head-to-head for locals for Canada, because that's why especially these Canadian players, I'm taking with a bigger grain of salt, highlighting these ones, because we don't know the full spread. And I guess we go from Ontario PR, from where he is on the PR relating to everyone, that he probably generally beats these people, but I don't want to read too much into these losses to fellow Canadians without having the full local set. So I'm going to try to not glean too much off of that, but when we have the full data set, or closer to a fuller data set for the final ballot, we'll be able to give it like a give or take there. Again, these resume reviews are to get like a better idea of where these players are and learn more about players you might not know about, instead of being like, Soonsay is going to be ranked X, Y, and Z right now. Hungrybox, none. Not bad losses. Bladewise, not bad losses. Moki Wizrobe, not bad losses. Ryan Ford S2J. IBDW Rishi. None Zane. Mike Hayes. Soonsay has the losses of like a player. He has the losses of an incredible player. He has the losses of a top 50 player. Not that that counts for much. It shows that he's consistently performing up to his seed, and as well not getting upset. At the big house, lose the Ryan Ford and then come back and beat him. Magnifique. As well as picking up a null win, 11th in SoCal, which is a dummy stacked region, so beating null is really cool. Going down the Canada Cup and winning the run back against Quaff. If this is the only time they played for the year, winning their second set is really cool to see. SB is, if I had to venture a guess, I'd say another Canadian player. British Columbia, Vancouver. Big House, Ryan Ford, EGLX, Moki, like a lot of these bigger events he ended up being knocked out, and a lot of this was because like Mango's Birthday Bash, he was almost in top 8, EGLX, he was in top 8. The Big House ones maybe, I think that's probably from Ryan Ford getting upset that caused that thing, but he just got very unfortunate and very just kind of out of luck running into these Canadian players at the bigger events he attended to. And I think there's a very realistic possibility, well, I guess he can't be said for the ones where it's very deep in the bracket, but maybe he could have picked up like a bigger win at the big house if he didn't have to like fall into Ryan Ford. Despite where he ends up being ranked, I think this looks incredible for Soonsay's projection going forward and how good I think he's going to be going forward. Losing, if you can consistently lose to really good players, one, that'll mean you'll get more chances to beat these good players, but that means he's playing at a level, and I would love to see, I don't have all the game counts for these in front of these, but I'd love to see if he's taking games off here, because that again, game counts aren't important for ranking, or I think they're not super important for ranking people unless it's like the end and the end of the end if we're deciding between two players and we want to look at game counts. I think game counts are really important for seeing someone's projected future and how they're going to perform at later events. And I wouldn't be surprised if we went through and saw Soonsay taking games off of some of these high ranked players. So the famous Curb test. Would I rather have Curb's resume or would I rather have Soonsay's resume? So let's do a refresher on Curb real quick. So he's got a lot of good wins on the players in this area around him. And it's interesting that we really don't have those reference points for Soonsay. It doesn't look like from the players, just going off the players he won and lost to, besides Leighton is the only player in the general vicinity of Soonsay we've seen him get the face-off against, and the real thing. It's also important to remember we don't have everything for Curb. Most notably, I've heard that there's a lot of bad local losses from Curb. So we're just like slightly keeping that in mind. And also, yeah, this Ryzen is a good player, but this should be highlighted as well. I think I'm giving Curb a little bit off the hook. Big Hallmark has a local win over Soonsay. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. How's their head-to-head records? I would imagine it's very strongly in Soonsay's favor. Yeah, Soonsay, like what I was saying, the big thing I was saying before I started comparing your resume to Curb's, your potential for moving forward, just I think anyone who's a fan of Melee and like looks at Melee stats can tell that you're a player that's going to get monumentally better. Like, I mean, watching you play too, like the hug set, I think everyone else in the chat can speak to this. And I'm not just like buttering you up because you're here in chat, but I think anyone who watched, especially the hug set, and just how cleanly you were moving and how disgusting your gameplay was. It was just like, damn, that's a good player. This player and these results are going to get further in more events than this player. I think that's why consistency usually comes over a lot for me, because we know that this player, from how consistently Soonsay just loses to good players, that this player is going to get farther than this one. I think that would be like pretty clear to me. To sum it all up for Soonsay, Soonsay is an incredible player that we can see from these results and from his play recently at Mango's Birthday Bash. I think he's a great upward trajectory, and with the two Rishi wins, the Ryan Ford win, the Real Thing win, and most importantly in this year where everyone gets upset by everyone, having pretty much no bad losses outside of like smaller regional events when he goes out to majors. Like, I don't think there's a single bad major loss here. Yeah, no bad losses. Like, not a single bad major loss, which I don't know how many players on the top 100, even at the highest level, we can really say that about. Like, that's an incredible thing to have on your resume. So I think Soonsay makes the top 100. Where exactly is going to be a little bit weird, because generally you'll be like, oh, he has this amount of these wins and I could generally place him on that, but Soonsay really doesn't have that. My gut says maybe like somewhere between 70 to 85 feels about right. But we're gonna get those numbers a little bit closer and more well known as we get inch closer and closer in the bout season. I mean, as PTAS like just posted, no, that's not it. PTAS just posted the short list for the players who are going to be on the ballot. So yeah, I think that about wraps up our discussion on Soonsay.